Communicating is probably the single most important skill leaders need to have. I could fill the segment with examples of great leadership communication, whether it is Muhammad's words to his disciples, Winston Churchill's words to his countrymen, Lincoln's words to those assembled in a battlefield cemetery, or FDR's words to Congress on December 8, 1941. Even if you don't know the exact words each of them used, you know that they excited millions to act in a certain way. Communication is the currency of leadership. The skill required to communicate with existing followers or to create new followers is essential to great leadership. There are many courses you can take that will teach you the skills of communication. We at Life Skills offer such a course. Basic communication is a combination of form and substance. It is how you communicate and what you are communicating. In this segment, we're going to talk about what you need to communicate, the substance over the form. Instead of focusing on the use of the media, the internet, live performances, the use of a teleprompter, and on-camera skills, we're going to talk about tailoring your message to potential followers. Skill number 1. Knowing what in your vision is attractive to others. Sounds simple and easy, but in practice, nothing could be harder. I was once asked by the director of a museum to help him create a message for his marketing. He took me on a tour of all the displays in his facility, extolling the virtues of non-reflective glass, lighting, aisle spacing, and other technicalities of displaying the art. He was convinced that these display technologies were the real selling point for his museum. When I told him the real draw was the art itself, he became very upset. He'd spent a great amount of time, energy, and money on the displays, and that was what he deemed to be important. He couldn't understand that anyone else would only be interested in the art he was displaying. The same thing happens to many of us. We get lost in what we spend the most time and energy on instead of what is really important. Potential followers will not be attracted by the color of your logo, the graphics in your brochure, the suit you wear, the decoration of your office, or your haircut. They are attracted by your vision and passion and how it is tied to their vision and passion. When John F. Kennedy made his speech about putting an American on the moon and bringing him back safely by the end of the decade, he did not communicate his vision of what it was like to be president, or Irish, or a Democrat, or young and attractive. He sold an idea that interested thousands of Americans involved in science and technology, and millions of others who believed in the exceptionalism of American culture. Young and old alike saw in his vision their own passion and vision for the future. They joined forces with him to create spaceships, rockets, lunar landers, computers, even Tang. For you to communicate successfully, you must know what interests others, what stirs their passion. Then you must find in your own vision and passion that small bit that addresses others' vision and passion. If your vision is of a mixed-use, walkable community center for your town with sidewalk cafes, shops, restaurants, entertainment facilities, and no vehicles, then you must tailor your message so that it reaches those who want family entertainment, who love sitting and chatting with neighbors, who love intimate shopping, who want to find a venue for food, friends, and human connection. Skill number 2, knowing how to present your vision so others are not threatened by it. It is good to tailor communication so that it attracts others. It is also important that you don't communicate above or below the heads of those you wish to influence. You may have a goal or a vision that most people would find attractive, but if you communicate that vision as if everyone had a PhD, then you're going to find yourself without many followers. People can tell when you're trying to show how smart you are. They can sense when you think you are really special. You know, many people say that Americans don't like educated people. That isn't true. What they don't like is people who are arrogant and attempt to make others feel small. On more than one occasion, I've tried to help people who don't want to, in their words, dumb down their message. Their attitude has been, if they're too stupid to understand my message, I don't want them as followers. I usually refer them to the writings of people like Mark Twain, Bill Clinton, or even Albert Einstein. All of them are eminently readable. All of them try to communicate complex ideas simply so that they're understood by the largest number of people. Winston Churchill could have easily said to the British people, "We will need your sacrifices, your efforts, and your ability to sustain defeats." Instead, he asked them for their blood, sweat, and tears. John F. Kennedy did not say, "Don't depend on your national government for support. Instead, participate and by doing so, help your national government." Instead, he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Skill number 3, make sure every communication has a call to action. This may seem obvious, but you have no idea how many people give rousing speeches and presentations and leave the podium having excited the audience about the subject material, but left them nowhere to go, no way to act on the information they've presented. We used to call this the Tom Peters syndrome. Now, Tom is a wonderful journalist and author who used to go around the country putting on 2-day seminars. People love these events, would get really charged up about changing their lives, businesses, or communities. The problems arose when they went back to their job and found that 2 days of work had accumulated, and they had no idea how to affect the change they were excited about. Most people ended up putting off the changes until they could clean up their desks and get the backlog of work completed. Weeks later, they would realize that no change in either their work lives, work, or community had occurred. Had Tom asked them to go back to work and throw all the accumulated work away and start from scratch, many would have done that, and change may have occurred. Tom did not ever include a call to action in his presentations. He never told his audience to take a step or steps to change things. This is consistent with who Tom Peters is, a journalist. His presentation told stories of what others did. He was not selling a vision or passion. You, on the other hand, are looking at what it takes to be a leader. You want people to do things. You need to make sure you tell them what it is you want them to do. You need to call them to action. On form number 4, there are some questions you should try to answer on how do you plan to make parts of your vision interesting and attractive to others. Take some time to do this correctly. This is a required skill for leadership. When you're done, come back to the next video segment.